Jody King Colegrove with Quantum Techniques. I wanted to share with you today the issue of body image. Back in the 1700s, 1800s, when you see a lot of pictures that were painted, you see a lot of voluptuous women, and they have rolls and kind of attire, what we call today in our midriff. But back then that was considered looking very wealthy, because if you had food, then you were able to feed your family and you had wealth and things like that. Today that's not really acceptable. And you think about the 1980s and how I was thinking about Olivia Newton-John and how she had the physical video, and that was kind of considered how your body was supposed to look with your leg warmers and exercise outfit. But through the ages, our look and how we feel acceptable about our bodies has changed. Think about now in the 1900s or 90s and 2000s, you really have somebody that's more athletic and built and has muscle and can be strong and take on things, and that's considered proper body image. So we all have a different body image that we feel comfortable with, that we like. Sometimes we have messages that we have in our minds that say that we don't have an acceptable body image. One of the books that I would recommend is a book called Transforming Your Body's Image. It says Learning to Love the Body You Have, and it's by Garcia Germain Hutchinson. And she has a lot of activities in this book that kind of help you deal with body image and to learn how to have more of a susceptible body image for where you're at. So I know for me that if I've taken in, let's say, some wheat, sometimes I will start having a negative tape in my mind about how my body image is. And what has happened is that the wheat has reversed my neurotransmitter of norepinephrine. And so I have that negative statement. So I'm just aware of, I know what's happened. And so I clear through quantum techniques the wheat off of that neurotransmitter, and then I stop having those negative comments in my mind again. So it's important that you are aware of the negative statements that you're giving your body and to be able to reverse that. One of the things that I thought was really interesting is a lot of times I like Macola.com has a lot of health issues, and one of the ones that they talked about was 5 surprising facts that make you pack on pounds. I thought that was very interesting. So one of the first ones is antibiotics in our food and medicine. And I know that recently I watched a 60-minute video on how they are really feeding a lot of antibiotics to our food stock, whether it's chickens or cows and things like that, that are making us have not be able to respond to antibiotics that we take in order to get healthy. So it's almost like they're creating superbugs because we're taking in that animal product into our body, and we're getting an antibody to those antibiotics is basically what's happening. And so that's one of the things that your body can put on pounds because it's trying to protect you from that. And that's one of the things that quantum techniques that we can go in using a curtain scan and find out what is there and clear that from the tissue so it's no longer impacting you. Another thing they talked about is growth-enhancing drugs used in livestock, which is kind of the same thing. And you think about if we're eating that, then we have the growth-enhancing drug, and we don't want to have growth-enhancing drug. We want to be smaller. But their issue is if they have a cow and they're able to get it really large, then they can sell that at market and be able to have more cow for the dollar. So it makes sense for them, but not for us that are eating it. The third thing is endocrine disruption because of chemicals, including pesticides. And so our endocrine system is really what helps our body be healthy. And so again, those kind of different pesticides can really affect our body and keep us from being healthy. The next one is artificial sweeteners. And I remember when my son was little, when we go to restaurants, we try to keep him entertained. And so we'd kind of play with the different sugar packets. Well, that was sugar and aspartame and neutral or NyQuil. Can't think of what the names are, but NutraSweet and Splenda. And so he would, Equal, that's what it was. And so he would play with those. And I remember one time he got even more fussy when we left the restaurant, and I had found that he'd actually ingested some of that. So we were able, with quantum techniques, to be able to clear that out of his system as an ingestant. One of the other things is well, in talking about sweeteners is the fact that, a lot of times people say, oh, I'm going to have a diet soda, but that includes those artificial sweeteners, and they really make a huge impact in your body in helping you not stay healthy. And so it's really important that you don't take in those artificial sweeteners, especially in the form of soda. The fifth one is aggressive stealth marketing of junk food. And I know for me, it's just become a lot easier not to take my son to the grocery store, because they, on the bottom level, is where they advertise all the great foods that the kids really shouldn't eat. And so it's just easier as he was growing up to not take him to the grocery store so that he didn't want those things. Another thing I really noticed is that a lot of times we would have him watch cartoons on public television, and they don't advertise a lot of those kind of foods. And when he would switch to cartoons on a different network, he was bombarded by all that advertising, and I would start hearing about, hey mom, we should get this, we should get that. And it's just very interesting how they do pick that up, and manufacturers really do market towards kids because it's kind of the nag factor to parents. So just to sum up, at Quantum Techniques, we work with a lot of clients that are dealing with health issues, chronic health issues, but part of that is of that health issue is dealing with inflammation, and we try to reduce inflammation. And inflammation can be there because of virus or bacteria, or because of the other things that we mentioned. And so what we do is we identify what's going on in the body and why it's not healing, and we work on getting the inflammation in the body to go down. And part of that inflammation is causing weight gain, and so that's kind of a side benefit, is dealing with weight gain. But I've worked with a lot of clients in dealing with weight gain and body image, in helping them get a better perspective and to get where they want to be with their goals. So I'd love to work with you in regards to body image and weight loss issues. So give me a call or visit quantumtechniques.com. And my email is jody@quantumtechniques.com. Great.